Evening everybody, Tony back again. Time for a continuation of the Masters of the Universe series. My last one was Merman. I thought I'd continue with one of the good guys this time, and we're going to go for Mossman. Hope I didn't scare you too much by bringing this face on straight away. But I thought I'd start with the close-up look first. So this is Mossman, one of the good guys of the series. Didn't appear much in the original show, purely for two reasons really. One was the show was coming to an end, and as with Transformers, towards the end of any series, all they do is find out what they've got left over, any molds or anything, and see if they can throw a character out of them. So they just found an old mould of Beastman and decided to turn him green and put some fur on him, call him Mossman. So that's the first reason. And then the second reason was there obviously wasn't enough time left to kind of give him a decent role in the show. He only ever appeared in 2 episodes. One of them was Here, There, Skeletors Everywhere, and one was called the Mirror of Avaroth or something like that. I can't remember. But his special abilities include being able to turn his whole body and blend sort of camouflage like into the background with trees, foliage, etc. He lived in the forest. He was one of the spies for the good guys. He had a few speaking roles, but again, you didn't hear too much of him really. And they did give him a bit more of a backstory in the episode, in the 2002 series, in the episode Orko's Garden. That gives him a bit more of a background. But in the original series, we didn't see an awful lot of him. And this is about, you're probably going to see more of him on this review than you did during the entire 1980 series, to be honest. So just have a look at him. You can see there, as I said, he's a direct mould of Beastman. Here's Beastman. You can see the differences here. Okay, I'm just going to try and get them both in the shot. There we go. Now you can see with Beastman, obviously he's got fangs there. He does have the same mould on Mossman, but what they did was paint the fangs over to make his teeth look a little bit more flat and less menacing, I suppose. You can obviously see it's directly the same mould, completely the same mould, except with Mossman they've added this fur to him. Now all this fur stuff, obviously he's called Mossman, he's meant to resemble some form of plant life. It was added with a pine scent to it, so that when you first got this guy out of the box, he would have kind of a scent to him, like a smell, sweet smelling smell of pine. This guy does not have that left on him anymore. He is 25 years old, and if he's got anything smelling of him at all, it's probably quite musky, to be quite honest, like he's been like somebody's wallet that hasn't been opened for about 20 years. He does have a bit of a smell, but it's not too pleasant. It's not, well, I say it's not too pleasant, it's bearable. It's not like you hold it up and it stinks the place out, but I just mean that the pine smell that came with him when he was in the 80s isn't with him anymore. Okay, so obviously at the top there, it's all missing. Obviously that's where the legs go. Usual thing with this figure, with these figures, it's got the sort of rubber band holding the legs in. Okay, usual arm design, exactly the same arms and legs as Beastman, not just the face. But just to show you, there's a good lot of it still on there. It's a little bit worn in some places, but not too bad. It's mainly only around the edges there, and there you can see his date stamp there. You can't quite make it out because some of the fur is covering it a little bit. Brown pants and a yellow belt. That's about him. No fur on the hands, obviously. That's a close-up of him. Let's just show you a few of his accessories. Standing up now. Okay, he came with this. The only accessory he comes with is this mace, and you just pop that. It'll only go into his right hand, and that's him. And that's how you display him. Like I say, there's not a lot to him. This is going to be a short video, very short video. So there's not a lot else you can really say about him, to be honest. He does stand up, but when you've got that mace in his hand, it doesn't stand up quite so well. But he will stand. There he goes. Now then, there was an additional a weapons set you could buy back in 1986, 85, which came with all sorts of things, and this thing was one of them, which came with Castle Grayskull. And I'll just move him to the side a minute. Let's bring Beastman back in. See, this isn't about Beastman, but you notice on Beastman he's got this red and blue sort of front and shoulder pads as well. Now, in that weapon set that I was talking to you about, you could get all different kind of guns, weapons, all that sort of things. That weapon set also came with these things, which are yellow versions of Beastman's red armour. So if you wanted to, you can actually, it will work in exactly the same way. I'm assuming it was put in there purely for the purpose of putting it on Mossman. I can't see it being able to go on any of the other characters. So you can, if the need takes you, put this yellow armour onto Mossman. Very finicky, these things, if I remember. Yeah, see, I'm having trouble here. Hang on, there you go. I'm not going to put it in all the way, just enough to keep it in place. Oh, it's very stiff, his arms. Not that I'm complaining. Something that's still in, as old as this needs to, if it's still stiff, that means it's in good condition. Let's put that one on there. Let's put this one on here. Yeah, that's probably the wrong way around, but never mind. Right, let's put that back on. Yeah, and if you want, you can have a heroic warrior version of Beastman. Personally, I mean, it looks good, but to me, that's not his character. That's not how he's supposed to be displayed, so I always take them off. But that's just to show you the comparison that you can have there. Like I say, these don't come with Mossman. They're part of the weapon set that you could buy. But I mean, I still think it's pretty obvious that it was designed for him, for the purposes of putting on Mossman. Okay, so that's how he looks with all of that on. And one final shot of him like that. There you go. Right, let's just take all that off. And we'll finish off with him displayed as he was intended. One last little point I'll give to you about this guy. You used to get lots of vehicles and different play sets. Obviously, with any toy line, you're going to get boxes that have big items in them, like bases and vehicles and horses, all that kind of thing. Masters of the Universe had something called a slime pit, and it was basically, you put one of the characters in, something, I think a claw or something would hold him in place. You put this pot of slime in, and it would slime all over the character. And this slime pit quite clearly said on the box, do not put Mossman in the slime pit. So Mossman was the only character that you could not put in that slime pit, for fear of ruining him, to be quite honest, because if you got all that slime from the slime pit onto Mossman, you wouldn't get it off again. So you had to leave him out. He was the only one that got away with not being slimed. That's all I've got to say on Mossman. I think that's just about all the information I can give you, really. Like I say, not too prominent in the character. This figure was one of the fourth wave characters, so like I say, it was coming to an end then. But still quite a nice idea, I suppose, and they were able to do something with it. Usual articulation, everything else is all there and all still does work. The punch is still there. There he goes. So that's Mossman. Okay. I'll keep running with these reviews if people like them. See how we go with them. Let's just finish with him standing up. Come on, you can do it. There he goes. Okay then, folks, that's it. Mossman. Thank you very much for watching. See you later.